Being the natural truth seeker that I am, I follow the transits of the moon, hoping to illuminate and expand your knowledge of what is hidden in the shadows. For after all, the moon doesn't just reflect light, it reveals the truth. Ready to plant a new seed in your sanctuary with this new moon in Cancer? If so, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Astro Lounge. I am your host and fellow astrologer, Jessie Jupiter. I study traditional Western astrology as well as have a strong love for health and wellness. Welcome to the channel where I combine my strong love for health and wellness with my strong love for astrology. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I will have a 3-card collective tarot reading just to get an alternative energy perspective as we are moving through this very cosmic energy. And if you are new here, I want to thank you for clicking on this video today. Welcome. And if you have been here before, I want to thank you for returning. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. I appreciate that very much for showing some support. I appreciate that and value it very much. So without further ado, I want to bring to you, on July the 14th, we have a new moon coming to us in the water sign of Cancer. I have been anticipating this video for a very long time, and I am so excited that I can finally put this energy out into the world. And I'm sure among a lot of other astrologers out there right now feel the same type of way, considering this is probably going to be the most important astrological event of all of 2026, taking place in July during this new moon in Cancer. I have been waiting. I have been longing for this, anticipating it, and I can't wait to share what I've got with you. All right, so first off, we're going to talk a little bit about what the zodiac sign of Cancer even represents. So Cancer is ruled by the moon, as we know. The moon actually governs over our emotions. It governs over our tides, the ocean. It has so much more power than we even give it credit for because it is pouring its energy consistently into life, keeping life alive. That was a deep way of putting it. Cancer represents maternal energy. It represents mother. It represents caregiver. It is nurturing. It is caregiving. It is so much more, and there's layers. It is safety. It is that we need as humans in order to feel safe. It is how we are protective of others. And when we really think about what mother energy represents, my mind automatically goes to a mother bear and her cubs. I think about being from Maine, how to not be one of those people if you see some cubs walking across the street, to not be one of those people that gets out of the car to try to take photos, because I guarantee Mama Bear is around and you will get mauled. So stay in your car, let the cubs pass. You don't need to take a photo. Just keep going. You're safer that way. So anyway, pointing out that Mother Bear, just like a mother human, will protect their child to the death. So don't get in between mother and child. That's a must. You also have emotional intelligence, with the understanding that emotions can be volatile, just like the ocean can be extremely volatile, but having the emotional intelligence to know that the ocean will eventually become still again if you're patient. It's the understanding. So these are some of the qualities that represent the moon in Cancer. All right, bringing up the chart here now, we want to point out the 4th house. The 4th house represents Cancer in astrology, and in Cancer right now we have the moon that has moved in for this new moon. We have a Mercury Sun Cazimi, with Mercury being still in retrograde. This is huge. This new moon is asking us whether or not we can plant a new seed of how it is that we emotionally process and express ourselves going forward in a way that is more sustainable than it had been in the past. Cancer is also a very nostalgic sign. And having Mercury retrograde in Cancer here is speaking on every level to me about not necessarily going back to the past for the negative and the trauma like most humans and myself tend to do and get stuck. Instead, it's about going back to the past and picking out that little tiny piece, that memory that can help you actually move forward. Because as humans, we're so used to going back to the past in a situation that we're currently in and trying to remember why it is this is happening to us, why we act this way, how we turned out this way, and we turn to the past to try to figure out why. And then once we figure out why, we realize that we're in the same situation and that it's familiar. And most tend to stay in that situation because it feels safe due to it being familiar. But is it really safe? This is asking us to go back to the past, find that little piece of nostalgia. Even if you have to dig incredibly long and incredibly deep, you're digging for gold here. And it's not going to be easy because you're going to have to dig through all of the pain, all of the suffering, all of the trauma. You have to be willing to dig deep. And it's not fun. But when you find that little piece of hope, that is what can actually help you progress forward. Instead of finding the trauma of the past and being still and stuck in the past and not being able to move forward, instead we are finding that piece of motivation and hope so that we can move forward. There's proof in the pudding. Some of the rather challenging aspects that are going to be taking place during this new moon in Cancer. First off, we have Uranus in Gemini in the third house of communication, squaring Venus in Virgo in the sixth house of health and wellness, everyday routine, your work life, your gut, and how you process things. And this is very much speaking to the need and desire for perfection. And having those unrealistic expectations. And then with Uranus and Gemini, this is those sudden upheaval within conversation. This could be arguments, sudden agreements, sudden blowouts. You had no idea that someone was holding something in for so long and that they could be that explosive. It's very important in these moments to find new ways of communicating. Even if it means learning how to listen more. Learning how to speak before you know what it is that you're going to say. Think before you speak. This could be if you're not able to actually get the words out edgewise due to someone speaking over you and you're not able to communicate. Write it down. Give it in a letter. Send it in an email. Get the words out somehow. And as for the unrealistic expectations and the perfectionism, bury it because it doesn't even exist. And understand that you are human. Have patience with yourself. You were designed to be perfectly imperfect. You were designed as a human to be flawed. So stop striving for something that doesn't exist. Next, we have Jupiter, planet of luck, expansion, growth, belief systems, truth, and higher learning, has now moved into Leo. Perfect timing, in my opinion, for this astrological event. Has moved into Leo in the fifth house, which Leo represents our self-expression, our life source energy, our creativity, but it also represents our inner child. And Jupiter in Leo is opposing Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is retrograde in Aquarius. Pluto represents death and rebirth and transformation. And in retrograde, it's transforming everything that passes through it. And now it's opposing your inner child. Pluto is in Aquarius, which is in the 11th house, which is the collective. It represents the community that you reside in. So this is very much a transformation, a collective transformation that is a power struggle that is now up against who you think you are and who you show the world that you are. The mask that you're wearing or the mask that you've finally surrendered. And with having Jupiter in Leo, this can go one of two ways. This can be an absolutely beautiful thing. Jupiter in Leo can very much be a understanding of, I've learned from the past. I see the truth now. I understand it. I see the big picture. And that's very much what Jupiter is all about. Ruler of Sagittarius always sees the bigger picture. So this could go this way. Having an open heart. Leo rules the heart. This is about being able to, on the positive side, be able to expand the heart. Being able to love again. Being able to trust again. Being able to take the experiences that you've learned from your life and be able to transform in such a way that you can teach others what you've learned about yourself. Whether or not that you've been able to figure out how to become your own authority and your own caregiver or not. Or you're still trying to figure out how to outsource it from everything else outside of you. And the negative way that this Jupiter and Leo aspect could go is Jupiter is expansive. It expands everything that it touches. And in Leo, which is ruled by the sun, this could be highly flammable. If that inner child continues to be stuffed down and ignored, rejected, denied, disowned, then it becomes highly combustible, flammable. It becomes resistant and pushes everything away. And just like the sign of Cancer, which is represented by the crab in astrology, is that when things become too harsh and unsafe, it retracts back into the shell. It hardens the shell. It becomes very protective of itself to the point where it can't go outside. It must stay in solitude. It must stay protected within itself, completely avoiding the outside. But this is because it's become a victim of circumstance. Instead of learning from its environment and understanding that they must first address what's going on with inside first to be able to make inside safe so that the outside can become safe too, then they cannot have the safety that they desire. They cannot have the freedom that they desire. They just have to stay put. They have to stay stuck. They have to stay small. And Jupiter is such an expansive planet. It wants you to grow. It wants you to learn. It wants you to be able to experience joy. Leo wants you to be able to experience joy and to be able to utilize your creativity. And this is such a powerful moment of, are you going to nurture that inner child? Are you going to let that child entirely run the show? Because we don't necessarily want that either. Jupiter in Leo could very much be, if you don't treat it the right way, this is a child being released into the wild with matches. That's all I can think of right now. And the opposite end of it, it is the child actually opening up and reaching out and just giving the world a hug. Nobody wants to do that, do they? Because they're already just pissed off. So, think about that. So among all of this that is taking place, we have a very rare configuration that is taking place within the background, a very supportive environment during this new moon in Cancer within the personal evolution that's going on within us as individuals and the collective as a whole. We first off have a sextile taking place between Neptune and Pluto. This is essentially a spiritual transformation or a spiritual alchemy, we could call it. And then we have a sextile that's taking place between Neptune and Uranus. This is the bridge that we are building through communication from the vision that we are having. And then this is creating a trine, a grand air, and we got fire in there with Aries too. This is a trine that is extremely using this energy in a very effective way, where having a trine between Uranus and Pluto is the Great Awakening. It is the actual restructuring of the neurological mind. This is your awakening. This is our awakening. For us to understand these things so that we can move forward, and we use the bridge with communication to get to where it is that we envision ourselves to go, to be able to have that communication in order to achieve that transformation for ourselves. Figuring out how to communicate in such a way that we can have that. All right, so guys, that is the astrology. It is powerful, it is potent. Use every bit of this energy to your advantage and know your limits, but don't suppress yourself. And at the same time, don't restrict yourself too much. Don't have too high of expectations of yourself. Just be gentle and compassionate with yourself. And all of this energy, if I reel it back in for like 2 seconds and just bring back the Venus aspect happening in Virgo, it's not all just about the perfectionism and the unrealistic expectations and the overanalysis. This Venus is also the ruler of Libra. So to me, this has the potential to have the energy of perfect harmony. So if we can remember that, if we come back to self, to who we truly are, and find out that we don't have to put a mask on in order to belong. We don't have to be put on a pedestal. We don't have to be seen as special in order to belong. If we can learn to come back to who we truly are and not need to curate, but come out of the dark and just present the world with who you are authentically, that's a whole new way of belonging. You belong to something bigger than yourself. You belong to the whole. You belong to a collective. This, with the perfect harmony, that is bringing me back to like one love, one life. We are one. If we can hold on to that, then we might actually get somewhere. We can share this planet. We don't have to keep pushing and shoving each other down, constantly seeing if we can like make it to the top and like push everyone down to get up there, to be more important than everybody else. You are not more important than anyone. We are created as equals. There, I said it. We are all human. And if we can all learn how to share this planet together, this planet might actually survive. Imagine that. Now moving on to the anatomy that is ruled by Cancer. So Cancer rules, it's a very maternal energy, so it governs the breasts, it governs the stomach, the womb. So the ways that we can really help ourselves through this time is through self-care. Self-care. Spend time getting back to what makes you feel cared for. Pull back your energy just a little bit from all of the care that you've been divvying out to everybody else but yourself. Come back to you and really spend some time with yourself and ask, what do I need in order to feel safe and nurtured and cared for? Maybe it's a good meal. Maybe it's spending time with your pets. It could be spending time in nature, journaling. Me, I love to spend time journaling. I can journal for hours. It is so therapeutic. You can get all of the thoughts out of your head that are trapped in there, and it's just a good way to channel. I also love poetry. Spending time near water. Water is so important. It is so cleansing and purifying and detoxifying. is very therapeutic, especially working with Cancer energy that is ruled by the moon. Spend time by water, even if you take in a nice long bath or you go to the ocean. Now that it is summer, if it is summer for you, go to the ocean, go to the river, go to the lake. Just completely envision that this water is washing away all of your worries. Also, some teas that you can really utilize in order to coat the stomach and really help the stomach settle are things like chamomile, mint, also valerian root. These are some teas that are very good that can help calm the stomach and help put you at ease. Find ways to regulate your nervous system. I really love using different music that I can find here on YouTube, different meditation music, and you want to find a frequency that matches you, that feels like your frequency. That way, anytime that you leave and you go out into the world and you start to feel unstable or just unregulated, you come back home, you come back to that frequency, that music, you put headphones on and you close your eyes and you come back to self. You match your frequency again. Basically what's happening is when you feel all unregulated, it's because you got frequencies now within you that are not yours, and then you just feel dysregulated. So regulate yourself by coming back to your actual frequency and filtering out what is not yours. This is really going to help you come back to self and start to begin to understand what self-care really truly is, what caregiving really means, what your definition of self-care is, not what other people's are. You are unique and individual. Listen to you, because your opinion matters also. So I really wanted to say here, happy birthday to all the Cancers out there. This has been a beautiful Cancer season, and I truly think that this new moon is going to be groundbreaking. So thank you for your beautiful Cancerian energy. I value you so much. And so now we got a tarot card reading to get into. But before we do that, I'm going to pick a moon magic card for you guys, because I feel like it. I feel like these are really good affirmations. So we got, it says, this is the image, and it says, I accept that here, now, is exactly where I am, and that it is a place of profound learning. Wow, I agree. With Jupiter in Leo, that is profound learning about what that inner child needs, huh? All right, now into the tarot reading using the Moon and Stars deck. So I don't know how this got in the deck, but I just thought I needed to share this with you guys. So this just appeared in my tarot deck. It's the water dragon. It's all about balance, and I thought it was relevant. So, I mean, I used to have a water dragon. I used to have 2 water dragons, where we would actually fill up the entire bathtub with water, and I would place them in, and they would swim underneath the water like a mermaid, and then they would reach to the other side of the tub, and they would run across the water. So that's so relevant right now, because being able to swim underwater, and it's like the difference between like the subconscious and like your conscience. So like being able to like go in between, like, I don't know, I just really thought about that. So that is the awakening of like, we can, you know, spend a lot of time underneath the water of just like the subconscious, and once we make it to the top, and we're able to kind of run across the top. It was like, I don't know, tell me what you guys think about that. But now we're going to actually do your tarot reading. So I don't know how that got in there. It happens. Not that often though. You guys are getting all the cards today. Guess that's what the universe wanted. And the fact that that said balance, being able to have a balance between divine feminine and divine masculine, huh? Yeah. you don't want to lean more into one than the other. You don't want to be too mothering to yourself because then you become a pushover. You don't want to become too masculine with yourself either because then you just become rigid and cold. So finding a balance, absolutely. Water dragon, yeah. The Four of Cups. So this is about distraction. So being able to not be distracted from your emotions. 4 is representative of the sign of Cancer. So to not be distracted about the things in the past and be so caught up in the things that happened to you and that's why you turned out the way that you are, and just be stuck in the blame game of it all. Don't be distracted by the past of the things that happened within family, because that keeps you stuck. But actually become aware of you and your situation, your reality, and how these things have kept you stuck, and finding a way to unravel yourself from what has kept you distracted. We've got a cat here. He says hi. This is Timmy. Timmy's a Pisces. We've got another balance card. It's 2 of Pentacles. And this is very much about when you are faced with 2 options that you are juggling, to try to maintain balance. And this very much speaks to me about not being in too much of an energy of one or the other. So you don't really want to be in too much energy of the nurturer, caretaker, because then you really get taken advantage of. And you really don't want to be in the energy of too much of the authority, because then you end up finding yourself being too rigid, too restrictive, and cold to the point where nobody wants to be around you. So that's the 2 of Pentacles. Lastly, we've got the Chariot, which is actually a card that represents Cancer in the tarot deck. And the Chariot represents forward movement with a lot of momentum, discipline, but willpower. And we have these 2 tigers at the base, and they represent both hemispheres of the brain and being able to understand how to balance and move forward with the understanding that they need to use both hemispheres. So yeah, that's the Chariot. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that this resonated with you. And if it did, you can show some support by clicking that like and subscribe button down below. Also hit that notification bell. That way you can get updated on when I release a new video. And leave me comments. Let me know how this energy is affecting you. That is very important information to me. And I hope that you guys enjoy this new moon in Cancer. Plant a seed so that you are able to nurture your very sacred sanctuary that you call home, that is within yourself. You get one body, you get one opportunity here, now, to try to figure this out. And I wish you the best, and I will see you in my next video. Keep looking up. Bye for now.